Welcome back on in, ladies and gentlemen. This is Arcway's Unite Blitz number 3, and I'm Dr. Kendo, joined by RT-san.
Oh, I think we just had very intense gameplays from all the way from, the upper semis, the winner finals, loser finals, and grand finals now. Not to mention that this is actually a bracket reset because we lost actually one, and because of that, we are going to have another best of 3, and I think I'm just really excited to see the gameplays that they have against Yeet fans.
And as Gamma says, we lost one. This is confusing. So please, try to stick with us. And the interesting thing is, not only are they playing against a team called Yeet Fans, but they have someone on their team called Yeet Fan. So many of you familiar with the scene, you know about Yeet Fan, right? Anyway, we're going to see that pick for the Absol right back up here. So Yeet Fan rolling with the Absol again. This is going to be, very indicative, I think, of what this team has done so far in the tournament, I would say, because we still see that slow bro. Still see the Hoopa, of course, and the Blitzy.
Yep, it seems like this is the team composition that they have brought in from the very beginning of this competition. So this is the team comp that they're going to use to end it off as well. But on the other side, though, they have been on the other side on Yeet Fans' team. They have been rotating Pokemons quite a lot, especially with Toon, right? Toon has played, I think, 4 or 5 different Pokemon so far already. And it seems like they're going for a different team composition this time as well.
So Toon has just mere seconds, and he will lock that in. So we go with the Slow Bro on Slow Bro action, but notice Overlord with the Zarina here, and we have Greninja entering the fray.
Yeah, not to mention Jungle Book actually going from the central area Pokemon to a support Pokemon. So it's a completely different kind of strategy going into this game, and I think that might put Yeet Fans' team a little bit off as well. So maybe that's the strategy that they are going for.
And we should credit Lambo in our chat earlier was saying Uzi is playing off-roll. He's normally a jungler, so normally in that central area, now finally gets to answer to that with that Greninja play. So, Lambo, you're either hearing somebody say this stuff already or you were right on the money, man, because that is what it looks like is going to happen right here. So big Uzi here for our central area. And obviously joined by, we have Absol on the other side. I shouldn't say joined by, but yes, Absol, that's Yeet Fan for We Lost in the central area for purple.
Yep, I think these are massive changes, and because this is a new set of best of 3, they're able to kind of experiment with this and see whether or not it's kind of a strategy that works or not. And even if they do lose this game, they are able to kind of reset for the second game and see, which of the strategies they kind of want to bring back. So it's going to be quite interesting to see.
Bulby dipping really low right here for We Lost, but luckily going to make it out with that life still intact. And so Overlord, a big Uzi kind of sent back on like, hey, let's just kind of reevaluate. We'll take a step back, get some of this experience, just as Derperior is looking to do right here. To get that Blissey, we do need to evolve here pretty soon. So that's going to be looking good pretty soon there for the bottom path, because we do have that answered already back from Yeet Fans. The team has their Blissey already. Toon actually caught off guard, dropping very low, but you're that slow bro. You get the potion, you're good. That slow bro can tank so much. Look, still in this fight.
Yep, I think, wow, this is incredibly well played. I think We Lost actually had a very good initiation on the side of Yeet Fans, but then afterwards, Yeet Fans, they turned the tide with the range that they have on this Greninja or Frogadier at this point, and they are able to find some values in there, get some knockouts, and get some dunks in as well. So good start for the side of Yeet Fans.
Definitely agreed, and so we'll see what they make of this, because we now are just about 8 minutes on the clock right here. A little bit, 8 and some change, but we're going to be looking at the Dreadnought coming up in just about a minute. But before then, we obviously have a lot of opportunities to try to get KOs, get experience, and just make things happen to move the needle forward for your team. So that's what's all going to be taking place right here. But Uzi using that grass right now. Yep, they were spotted, of course, from that. So Yeet Fan also in the grass.
Oh, both of them going onto each other. Yeet Fans will be the one to go down, though. Just too squishy, I must say. And Greninja with that range is able to poke at him without getting into grave danger, I must say. And that's before the second bee spawn. So very good. Once again, towards the side of Yeet Fans, they are having a really good start at this point.
And of course, we emphasize that's Yeet fans, the team, you know, it's not the player, because that's going to get confusing, of course. But Bulby right here, dropping pretty low, but trying to stay in this fight for those Bs. When you go for that Combi investment win, ultimately Bulby brought down, but you're trying to get that sweet experience. You're trying to get some of those points and everything that matters here. But there's a hyperspace hole on the goal from Yeet fans, the team, and then we're going to see it answered right back from We Lost with a few dunks in along the way, too. So now both teams can go for the Dread with all hands on deck, except for that slow bro over there for purple. And isn't that Toon, I believe, if we have that? No, Toon was on the orange. Okay, so I'm getting my head mixed up here, but that was that boy Muck.
Yep, and I think with the level 9 Greninja, they actually managed to find a really good angle into the team fights and take the Dreadnought without much contestation as well. So We Lost now kind of losing actually, so they do need to find some spaces for them to actually take team fights, and I guess they just did that with the Greninja.
We Lost, actually losing. Okay, so anyway, the Midnight Slash goes down, and Toon still able to withstand that. You're that tanky slow bro, man. We love to see it, of course. It's not easy to live through all that Absol punishment, but still gonna be staying strong, I would say. And so Yeet fans right now looking pretty good with the 226 on that score. We're just about to hit that 6 minutes on the clock. So again, for this stage of the match, you're looking pretty high up there with that score.
Yep, I think We Lost at this point. They need to find ways to get the Unite moves on their side, and then maybe that is when they can try to find and engage in a team fight against Yeet fans.
So right here, of course, you see a few hits on the Rotom, but it's still not, you know, it's probably, yeah, so they're going to pull off of that, which they should, because the priority really is going to be all these players trying to just sort of get involved with that fight as well, right, from We Lost. Then when the coast is clear, that's where you start making comeback maybe for it. But notice, of course, on our mini-map, we are seeing Absol for We Lost is trying to get up in there and will be KO'd. So actually that Rotom now free to go for Yeet fans, the team.
Yeah, and they do manage to get the Rotom, so they are going to push towards the tier 2 goal zone of We Lost. Ooh, they initiate with the Unite move from Greninja, and that brings out 2 Pokemons. Serena comes in to clean up the rest of them. They break the tier 2 goal zone around the 5 minutes mark, so very strong and dominant positioning as well as gameplay from the side of Yeet fans, the team.
You saw Yeet fan, the player, not to make this confusing, getting very, very low there as well as that Absol, but really played it cool, I would say, because a lot of those Midnight Slashes kept them in. A lot of the pushes were just made appropriately, and so good job also to We Lost. So kind of both teams giving it their all, I would say, right now, but one clearly ahead by score. Anything goes still, though. We still have 4 minutes and 20 seconds with that Dreadnought going to the left side team, which is We Lost. Gonna be winning that Dreadnought.
Yep, they do win that Dreadnought, but the Absol goes down, so that means a little bit more EXP for the side Yeet fans team, especially Big Uzi really popping off right here on this Greninja. You know, he is definitely more familiar with this role, and he is playing it, you know, so well in this game, and he is just doing so much for his team.
So right now, Big Uzi getting the buffs right here, and then we'll be probably making some moves, of course. You're gonna really have those full pockets pretty soon. So this is things that you look for, right? As we start heading into that final stretch, who has the full pockets, who has them before and after. Now, of course, Derperior caught with the Scald, but then the Telekinesis, and Overlord's just trying to pick away here. We got the Stomps, we got the Slides, and so there they will finally bring it down. And then look, you also have the beautiful setup right there to also bring down Bulby. So this is looking better for Yeet fans, the team, but notice what's going on this top path as well.
Yep, it seems like both teams do manage to find a little bit of value there. The Absol on We Lost side is already level 14, so they need to be very careful about this. But in terms of who's taking the team fights really well, I must say Yeet fans, the team, they are engaging them a lot better.
That's good. They're going to need that to keep, like, to back up that score because, yeah, we see that they're winning by the score and all that, but we know what's happened with the Zapdos flips, you know, all day. And so ultimately, if you can kind of manage to keep winning those team fights, not only are you going to get the experience from it and the points and everything, but you're proving that when the Zapdos comes, maybe we can hold out and maybe we can do it. So, you know, you look at these level 14s on both sides, it's joined by, of course, the Yeet fans right there having the Greninja here at level 14. So this will be really that Greninja versus Absol fight. You know, again, we've seen Greninja kind of come out as a really good, I would say, counter for it so far with how they play, at least how Yeet fans, the team, plays it.
Yep, and I think they are playing extremely aggressively, and we lost can't really find the angle in. Even this dreadnought is going to go uncontested to the side of Heat Fence team, and with that, it's going to be the 2:10 kind of minute mark already, and that means, like, you know, positioning into the Zap pit will be extremely important.
Right, you are. So there we go. That's going to be the Rings Unbound right here. It's a Yeet Fans, the team. They put down that, and of course, We Lost to put it down as well. So anybody can get this Zapdos, but who is going to win that in the end? It's going to be the Yeet Fans. That's going to be orange right there, and that's an immediate team surrender. So, Artie-san, you know, generally we're against surrenders in the world of Unite, except for a situation like that. I think, you know, you've lost all your goals. You've lost basically all your players, and the math is not on your side.
Yeah, for sure. I think that was an extremely well-played game by the side of Yeet Fans. The team, I think they dominated. We lost from the very beginning, right? Even though it seemed like they had the team composition to win in the early game, they kind of lost all the way. I mean, look at this graph. It just shows like what actually happened throughout the entirety of this match, right?
Yep, it went up and up and up for a score, final score, we should say, of 416 to 188. And so, yeah, it wasn't any one thing that Yeet Fans, the team, did. It was just all the things. So that graph, as you said, definitely painted a picture. But here we go. Who's wearing the crowns? Well, you see those 144 points from Overlord, also the 95k on the damage. So running that Zarina pretty well, I would say. I think everybody would agree. And Big Uzi there with the 89.
Yep, I think they definitely were very prominent in a lot of the team fight just now. And I do think that Serena scales very well into the late game, and that's probably why she manages to get so much damage in. I think Yeet Fan on the absolute this time, 55,000 damage, not at all near the kind of damage that he was doing in the previous two games, like 130, 120. This is a little bit underperforming, I must say, in terms of how they engage in the team fight. And I guess all the team changes that happened from the side of Yeet Fans, the team, just made it harder for them to adapt to, right? Because so many changes were made, and they had to kind of deal with so many of these things.
Absolutely. And just speaking of the Absol, it's been the sort of theme, I guess, around the tournament, as well as the Zap Flip and stuff. But as far as the team comps go, and so it's largely responsible for that recent update that has brought Absol, a Pokemon that didn't quite need the amount of buffs, I would say, that it got, you know, kind of the improvement. And I think a lot of people echo that sentiment. So we are seeing that with the, you know, even our chat called it a broken Mon, you know, and so we are seeing the potentially broken Absol, you know, based on your opinions, of course, but clearly there's some truth to it. Now the idea is, as we're saying, how did the team's comps change? And they tried to answer, I think, largely to that Absol. You know, we see the Greninja in there. We can bring in the criticals with that. It's just a lot of different things, I would say. I don't think it's just any one, like, I don't think it was just the Greninja, but that was a helpful pick. We saw, you know, for instance, that moment, Big Uzi sending off those shurikens in the grass. I mean, these were all smooth moves, I'd say. So good job. It worked.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's been really nice to see Yeet Fans team just coming out with different ways to counter this Absol, and some of them worked a little bit better than others. I mean, the Cramorant didn't really work, and they tried out the Aegislash, they tried out the Greninja, they tried out so many different things, the Dragonite as well, and it's pretty interesting to see, right? It's nice to see like them experimenting in Arcway Gaming's Unite Blitz 3, right? In this meta, and finding ways to kind of counter this entirely broken Pokemon that a lot of people have been talking about and trying to get some changes on.
Absolutely. So we'll have to see, can they keep this going? Can that team actually snowball these victories and get another one? You know, we're no doubt just maybe a minute or two away, I would imagine, at least at this stage. Lots of stuff going on behind the scenes, as you guys know, or maybe don't, in the viewers' chairs as well. Go ahead and say, you know, whichever team you're going for. We love to see it, you know, in the chat and everything. So we'll try to read those off, unless we don't have time to burn. But hey, right now we do.
Yeah, for sure. And I do think that the team comps coming in it's still very strong, right? But for the side of We Lose, we lost. Sorry.
Yeah.
They can't afford to lose the early game. They need to make sure that they are winning in the early game. And it was quite unfortunate they weren't able to come online at all in the previous game. So in this game, that's kind of what I want to see from them. Just being able to get a better positioning in the early game, such that they are able to kind of snowball, especially with that Absol that we've seen before, doing 130,000 damage. I feel like we've seen it before. We definitely can see it again, and that's why we want to see as well.
Well, time will tell, of course, but that's a good analysis of just what we would want to see this maybe sway in either direction, of course. But ultimately, you know, I would say that the last kind of question is, and maybe we've already gone over it a little bit, but what does this team do now? Even though they've won, what does Yeet Fans, the team, what do they do to just kind of keep this momentum going? Because, you know, you might have to look at some of these picks right here, but we can only imagine, do you think that Absol is actually going to change? That's the question. Will Yeet Fan over there on the other side actually pick that Absol still? Yeah, so there. So now you just respond to that.
The green check mark right there just confirms it once again, and I think Yeet Fan has been doing so well with the Absol, it doesn't make sense for him to change it at this point in time. And of course, I think on the side of the other team, Yeet Fans, the team, they are probably going with the same team composition, because I think that the first game has been a stomp for them, and they know how to kind of like maneuver around the team compositions we lost.
So, of course, just for it to not be a jarring experience for the viewers or anything, but just remember we have switched sides, so the colors will switch once again. And so that means, obviously, Yeet Fan over there for the team we lost, going to be on the orange this time. And Yeet Fans, that's the name of that team, going to be on the purple. And so, yeah, like we say, they're sticking with that Greninja, and it's the Ninja Greninja.
Yep, this Grenin has done so much for his team just now. Just always being able to find the Absol, and not just that, initiating the fight with its Unite move, dealing so much damage to an area of effect, and just being able to do that allowed them to kind of win the entire game through all of these team fights. And I feel like this is what we want to look out for in this game.
So you've just heard it, my friends. That's the ready go for this match. Starting buzzer, if you want to call it that, but we obviously see the formation already taking place. Generally, it has been the 1-1-3 for most of it, but look at what's happening. We're going to see that invasion from Hoopa. It's once again going down, so you might actually see on that mini-map right there, that's going to be Orange Hoopa on the side of We Lost. JL going to be playing the invasion.
Need to make sure that he is able to land the Astonish really well. It seems like Big Uzi is not going to have any of this at all. Jungle Book is back here to kind of respond to him and bring JL down to a lower HP. Doesn't manage to get him down with the Magician, bring him the Citrus Berry to heal back, but it seems like he finds value in other places.
That's the thing that will come in clutch for you. You know, you use that Magician, you can honestly use it so much in the game, and not everybody thinks to do it, but certainly if you're doing that jungle invasion, that was the key, right? Because we would have seen a drop down if JL would not have gotten that Citrus. So again, looking good. But anyway, We Lost right now. They do have the rotation with the hyperspace hole, and it's actually sending up most of their members right here for this top path.
Yep, a slightly different rotation is what we've seen before. And Yeet Fans, once again, they find so much value. They knock out the Lucario just now, and they knock out the Lucario again, without bringing down any of their Pokemon to the side of We Lost. So they have the advantage again in this early part of the game. So We Lost, they need to be very careful. They don't want Yeet Fans to actually scale so soon.
And so notice JL right here, maybe making another attempt at the invasion, because we want to take the buffs. We were trying to stall the Greninja. That's kind of the obvious play right here. Now we have that hyperspace hole to bring us back and then bring us back on in. And so JL, definitely applaud the effort. It's just, it is a bit hard, you know, and you also have Jungle Book now also kind of licking at you from behind right here. So it's just, you know, props to JL for doing this, but wow, that hyperspace hole is not in the best spot, is it?
Yeah, just a little bit out of access and not enough time for him to reach there as well. But at the same time, We Lost did manage to distract them. Yeet Fans a little bit. They find some value in the top lane and might be finding a little bit more as well.
Yeah, this is looking good, Yeet fans. You're going to go ahead and push them back. We lost, at least push them back some and get some of those KOs, drops. And there's a hyperspace hole that was on that goal that timed out with good timing, basically, for if you're Yeet fans. So right there, you can see they could dunk in these 30s. There's 11. These are all pretty big point values for this. So this is nice. And so the hyperspace hole was down, but obviously bring down that hoopa once more. And we are on a roll right here. So anything can happen still, of course, but you're seeing a pretty masterful play so far, and Dreadnought coming in about 7 seconds.
Yes, and what I also noticed is also this episode at level 8. He might be reaching level 9 soon, and that he has just reached it, and that means Unite moves for the first Dreadnought.
And so, yes, we are going to see that first Dreadnought being attacked right now. It is a bit of a contest and going down actually slower despite, this is still actually quick for a Dreadnought, but a little bit slower than we've seen for this whole tourney. And that'll ultimately go to We Lost, which is the name of the team, of course, who wins that Dreadnought right side team.
Yep, and the Slowbro manages to get 2 knockouts. The Absol as well with 2 knockouts, doing so extremely well for his team. Just being able to get another one on the Serena will give them the tier 1 go zone.
And that's right. That was really, again, that's one of those examples of just pushing very far and everything, the aggressive play that we've talked about, sometimes players being overzealous and things, but really well played, I would say, from We Lost. And so right now at 149, they are sitting at the goal advantage, the points advantage and everything, but ultimately, this is still a close match, I would say, especially entering into about the mid-game right now.
Yep, I think the Yeet fans team do have the levels for a good team fight, but they need to find the right engages, and this might be it.
You are right. There's going to be the engage, and so let's see. So Yeet fans trying to push them back, and right now, though, it's just kind of dominoes, right? It's like one team falls, and then there's another set being put up, and then they fall. So there you go. Yeet fan trying to get these scores, but did you notice Rotom actually was kind of picking away at it? Surprisingly, Yeet fan, the player, though, did have plenty of time for that, so luckily they were just kind of able to say, all right, get off me, and then score that in. So now they'll get the Rotom, and looking good.
Yep, this Rotom, if they decide to push, I think they won't decide to actually push it in because they might want to save the Unite moves. I say this and they just go entirely in for this. Yeet fan with the Unite move being expensed over here. Might be overextending a little bit though. The Serena will be the one to bring it down, so I think this Rotom will not be going in as well. So not much value on the side of We Lost, and in turn, this Dreadnought is going to spawn soon, and they are trying to find this aggressive positioning to make sure the team doesn't go in.
That's right, if it wasn't confusing enough, people. But anyway, we got the hyperspace, I'm so sorry, the rings unbound from both of these Hoopas. Gonna be able to bring in those portals, so anybody can hit this Dreadnought now, and both teams do. Gonna go back to right side team. So that's, once again, We Lost. Actually going to be winners here, but you are going to notice there's going to be people dropping on both teams, ultimately then to go ahead and favor orange once again.
Oh wow, yes, a lot of exchanges actually happening with Slobo once again getting a KO streak of 2. This is some carry Slobo that we're seeing in this game at least. Both sides do manage to find some value, and both looking at the levels, a little bit more advantages to the side of We Lost, but I wouldn't say that Yeet fans is that far off anyway.
That's right. We're looking pretty solid here on both teams as far as the levels go, and that will matter when the Zapdos comes into play. Certainly, of course, as we're talking about it, though, the Absol getting up to level 14 here for We Lost, a Yeet fan. That's the player, of course. Level 14, looking good. We have a little bit of time also to get to level 15 and maybe beyond, but here we go. So notice this, it's going to be the stomp, but then the Midnight Slash comes in for that save for Absol. Yeet fan, though, dropping pretty low. That's the player, but no, will be saved right now. Can he actually escape? That's actually going to be a yes until being met with, of course, a Greninja on the other side.
This Greninja did so much for his team. And this fight doesn't seem to be ending even until now. And once again, I keep seeing the Slobo getting a KO streak of 2, and I just find it so fascinating in this game.
Yeah, we're seeing the Scald Bro too, so definitely for anybody that's just now joining us, if you have not stayed up to date basically with their the updates and stuff for the game, Scald has just become a lot more prevalent. I'm going to be honest, RT-san, I actually still kind of favor the Surf a little bit, but maybe I don't play Slowbro enough, or the game enough in my own matches to really make the distinction. But hey, Anytime that they kind of bring a new move into prevalence, sometimes I'm happy about it, so kind of keeps a fresh experience on the game.
Yep, and I think Slowbro with the scout, it just does so much damage actually, and I think it goes very I think it feels like people kind of underestimate how much damage it's able to do, and the utility that it brings as a tanky frontliner, just being able to poke down some damage.
That's definitely a great point. We are seeing a lot of full pockets right now, though, on that orange squad. So we lost. If they get a Zapdos, we're going to be eating Hundo Dunkins once again. You're going to be getting that coffee, getting your Hundo Dunkins, right, for everybody, because there's going to be the Rings Unbound here in the final stretch, and that will be right side team. So just like we call it, we lost. Unless there's a surrender or something, we were going to be eating Hundo Dunkin, all right? So RT-san, it looks like that boy Muck going to start us off. Hundo Dunkin. Unite runs on Hundos, and there they are.
Yep, and I think this time we lost. They managed to find an angle into the mid to late game. They get all the levels that they need, and Elite Fans just wasn't in position to take the Zapdos fight well enough. So I think this game, it's going to the side of we lost.
That is absolutely right so far. I mean, if you had really, again, the math we like to talk about, but never mind, because the opposing team is going to win this because of that surrender. But I was going to say, you do have actually, you have like 1 minute and 17 seconds, I think, was when that surrender happened. And really everybody on purple would have to have the 50s, and you'd have to, it's a lot of kind of ifs, like, right? It's not a perfect setup for that, but they could have come back if they had that. But that's a very, very big if. So that's why we see a final score of 522 to 113.
Yeah, and I think this time, it seems like there's a lot of back and forth happening this time. And this time we lost. They consistently kind of had the game in their hands. I feel in the mid to late game, they managed to find the Greninja out sometimes, and it was just enough for them to get a better positioning in the Zapdos hit and just flip it, and that's exactly what we saw in this game.
Yeah, that's always the thing you wonder is like, okay, that team, did really well with that Greninja that time, so are they going to do really well again? And clearly, we can see that, what's their team called again? We lost. So yeah, they're going to actually turn that all around in their favor now. And so we kind of have this back and forth, adjusting here, you adjust there, and you just get this tug of war, I guess we could call it, right? Because each side is just getting their victories here and there. So yeah, RT-san, I mean, that's generally what we say, especially from the viewer's perspective, I would imagine, but even as casters too, like, we want to see close games, we want to see them be intense, and here's equal minds, equal bodies meeting together to, hopefully one of them's got to win eventually, so we don't know who's going to be, but now we got a 1-1 again in that bracket reset.
Yep, so it means that we are down to our last game, and whoever wins this will be the winners of the Arcway Gaming Pokemon Unite Blitz number three. So yeah, I think we've seen the strategies work from both sides, right? So now it's like, are they kind of gonna go with the same one, because this is going to be the last game? Are they gonna play it, go big or go home kind of thing, right? Are they going to completely change the strategy that they have, or are they kind of going to go back in with the same ones and just execute it better than the other team, is the question.
Yes, that is the question. We've been posing a lot of questions today, and they do get answered. It just takes the due time, of course, of seeing what's going to happen with the matches. Ultimately, like you said, there's going to now be a winner decided, and so that's like, this is where it gets probably, when it's for all the marbles, everything just gets intense from our perspective as the casters, from the viewers, and for the players. So, this is what it comes down to. We're down to the wire. So, Pokemon Unite Blitz number 3. We're doing great, you guys. Yes, I see Lambo in the chat. I was waiting for somebody to speak up right here. Can you give us, I mean, if you're rooting for either of these teams, you're in good shape, right? Because really, literally, either of them could win. So, we're going to see.
Yeah, we definitely have to see what they come up with. How do they kind of play differently between like the games before this and even for the games in this grand final series, right? Like, what are they going to do differently is what I kind of want to see. And I guess I guess, okay, to be fair, I think we're not going to see any difference in terms of the team composition coming in from Yeet Fan's team, right? Are we?
Well, that's a question that will be answered for you very shortly, but it does look like if you meant Yeet Fan apostrophe S, then that will be pretty much the same team comp. But if you're meaning Yeet Fans, the team, then that still has the question, but we are seeing actually there it is. So, all right, it's no longer a question. It looks like we are running that same game, same people. And thank you so much to Flagonate, who said casters are doing such a good job. And of course, our friends Arcway Gaming saying casters are goats. And you know what? You are goats. We are goats. Well,
we are goats, nice. And you are goats. So yeah, we are going to go into the final game of this series between Yeet Fans as well as We Lost. So what are we looking at?
Well, keep in mind, of course, the teams have switched sides once again, so we'll be looking at We Lost there in the purple. You know that it's We Lost because they have the player named Yeet Fan on their team. But then to make everything confusing for anybody who's been here or just now joining us, that orange squad down on the bottom there, they are actually called the Yeet Fans. So with an S, that's their team. So obviously no Yeet Fan on that team, but they're going up against Yeet Fan, and that's what I think Artisan and I predicted for what we wanted, I guess, in the Arcway Gaming Unite Blitz number 3. But ladies and gentlemen, get that hype going because that will be the last time today on this tournament that you hear that ready go. Unless, I shouldn't say that because there could be like a disconnect or something and they'd have to do it again. But no, let's not say that, okay?
Let's not have any VCs or anything like that right now. It really comes down to like the gameplay and yeah, maybe are we going to see that central area invade again? I think not, and that means it's a 1-1-3 on both sides.
The 1-1-3 has been strong today. It's strong with the force, and so we're seeing Yeet Fans, the team, having to contest with that. You know, they've got all of the members of We Lost that are on this bottom path right now trying to contest with us Audino, and so they will kind of answer that back. But you're noticing what's happening, right? Everybody's sort of dropping low, while purple here, We Lost, is actually maintaining a lot of their HP. So, you know, it's looking dangerous, and Slash really going for it. Tried to get the berry and just will not. And mind you, that's the berry on the other side.
Yep, so that means that We Lost will have a little bit of an advantage in this early game. They already have that Slowbo and Blissey evolved, while on the other side it is going to be a Chansey and Slowpoke. So kind of a little bit more scary in the bottom lane, but in the top lane though, a fight might just be happening.
And that fight is, and so Yeet Fan, the player, dropping very close as that Absol luckily able to get on out and then teleport back. So we're going to obviously see they'll approach the top. It looks like no. Okay, so they'll actually hit up the central area once again, which is probably the right move, of course, as everything respawns. So that's good. Just getting my bearings here, ladies and gentlemen, but we have Toon Slim ready to evolve right here. So we just need that one more KO, and it looks like that's going to be the process for a lot of these players. And so we're going to see those evolutions, those next steps. And really that is indicative because we're about to hit this 8-minute mark. And obviously you'll be looking at that Dread in about a minute after that.
Yep, and looking at the macro plays, Hoopa from We Lost actually going into the side of Yeet Fan's central area to kind of disrupt it a little bit. Make sure it doesn't get its level 7. It gets a knockout actually. So this is going to be quite big for the side of We Lost. They are doing exactly what they need in the early game to kind of skill up. Absol already level 7, and I think this is a very good start for them.
Overlord, you can see this is a dangerous situation, but luckily backed up by Big Uzi. And then the good news for We Lost is that they did have that hyperspace hole well timed. Are going to kind of teleport back in here and maybe test the waters, it seems. But, you know, that may not always prove to be the best thing unless you can be saved right here by your Absol. Again, with the very clutch hyperspace hole going down, and that will actually turn into the favor of We Lost. So a wonderful series of events right here to make that your actual team fight victory.
Yep, I think if I were on the side of Yeet Fans right now, I would just give up this bottom lane, make sure I don't lose too much EXP, right? And try and find other ways to get EXP and farm, because they look to be quite under-leveled at this point. And it seems like, they aren't actually going to go for the dreadnought as much, and instead the Greninja will be around trying to get in some dunks and farm around instead.
Yeah, and you're also seeing it on the mini-map with that slow bro, too. We can't forget, even just dunking in a little 5 right here, you know, they're probably picking up some points. It looks like that we're on the ground. So you pick up that AOS energy, get another 5 in, and then also take the dreadnought. So that's going to be pretty intense, you guys. So well played by Yeet fans, but it's kind of that more risky, high risk, high reward that we were talking about before.
Yep, and they are definitely reaping the rewards, as you say so, right? Overlord just getting some of the knockouts that it needs with its Unite move as well. And Uzi once again going in, finding even more value for his team.
You saw how many attempts that took for Overlord to drop in that 40, but finally will dunk that in, luckily, as this arena. So looking good. And again, this is Yeet fans at 111 now, as we're just about to hit that 6 minutes. Yeet fan, the player, getting that quick 12 while everybody's teleporting back and then back on in. And then Yeet fan gonna drop low, but not without taking out that Greninja, because yeah, that was definitely tough.
That crit right there just did so much damage to Uzi. I think he wasn't expecting that kind of damage, and neither were we. And because of that, we lost. They are able to get the tier 1 goal zone and come back into this game.
So that's right, we're going to see now Yeet fans trying to get some of these scores in, but also Dat Boy Muck doing a good job of just kind of diversifying those hits. We're going to hit you, just try to stop all these scores until backed up by the rest of the team, right? So we lost, now has a few more players coming in here, and it looks like that will ultimately be the bringing down that Zarina for Yeet fans. Brutal.
You say that, and at the moment you say that, Absol goes down as well, and Yeet fans finds a little bit more value there with that knockout over there, and they are probably going to be able to take the Rotom and then try and force out a fight at the bottom Dreadnought with Hoopa's Unite move.
So there it goes. Finally, we will see that Rotom be taken. That's going to be that 174, and you're calling it correctly because, of course, there goes the rings unbound. So it's that step-by-step. Right here we go. And so we also see, of course, Zarina pulling out the Queen, isn't it the Queen's Descent? Ascendance. I'm getting everything wrong. I'm so sorry, everybody. All right, here we go. Let me get reset right here, okay? So this is the Dreadnought fight right now. We are way down below 50%, so there we go. That Dreadnought is now going to go to the left side team, and that it's just been a match of kind of unexpected Dreadnoughts, I would say.
Very nice egg bomb coming in from the period. I think none of us was really expecting that, but great job. I think Yeet fan team didn't have the Unite move right there, so they really needed to engage in the team fight first if they wanted to assure themselves that Dreadnought, but they decided to go for it, and instead they lose some value because of it.
And so now with the hyperspace hole on the goal, it might be that we lost, just need some more backup, right? Because we did see Slowbro up there up top, and so Dat Boy Muck can come in and help with that. So that was really well timed, I would say, because you're also noticing who dropped and who didn't, right? Nobody dropped until now, right when I say it. So there you go. Anyway, that's going to be another hyperspace, and that'll bring them back to base and potentially bring you back in. Okay, so no, Blissey will actually take the jump pad, and so right now we're looking at a game that is relatively close, I would say. You know, if you're looking at a score of 100 to 174, we have the final stretch to come, but still a lot of time before then to make a few more dunks.
Yep, I think We Lost definitely has the levels that they need. Absol is level 13. They just need to make sure that the Lucario gets his level 13, and as I say that, they find additional value getting the Greninja at the same time. At this timing, with it using its Unite move, it's going to be quite hard for Yeet fans to kind of come back. They really need that Unite move for the Dreadnought, the Zapdos fight.
And so as you were speaking, that was huge because We Lost really bringing this again. It's just 4 points right now as the differential. And so it was really that last little bit of plays. And so obviously this is going to be a 100, I'm so sorry, an 11 right there from Zarina. I think both RT-san and I need a mind reset right now. And so anyway, we are going to see, though, this is just going back and forth, though, because when you see 182 to 185, literally anything can happen.
Yep, and once again, we see them holding on to that Rotom, making sure that the timing is right for it to actually be released into the tier 2 go zone. Because now at 210, Yeet fans, they have to decide, do they defend this Rotom or do they let it in? Do they go for the Zapdos instead and risk We Lost getting a single dunk in?
Right. So yeah, it is a tough call, you know, but like I think they probably made the right decision when you don't see any other We Lost members, because they could have tried to sneak in, you know, something in the back right there, right when the final stretch hits, but then they'd be down a Zap player. So notice what's happened though, a complete just massacre here at the Zapdos pit, and that legendary pit is the site of, wow, that's going to be 4 We Lost members, 5. That's going to be a total team wipe, leaving Yeet fans to go ahead and get this, and looks like they will, RT-san.
Yep, I think it really came down to like the team compositions, right? It's Yeet fans' team definitely had the advantage in the late game. They kind of gave a little bit to We Lost in the early to mid game, but it seems like when it comes down to taking the right objectives at the end of the game, Yeet fans are the ones to be able to do it.
And this will be the last time you hear me say it. Probably this tournament will be Hundo Dunkins. They were dropped on in for that Yeet fans team right there. And Unite really did run on Hundo Duncan. We'll see if they got, you know, just under a minute. They are trying to send this assault to the goal, but again, you need some of those full pockets. We're seeing score values of 28, 29, 21, and 35. You know, these are not the math that you need, if that makes sense. So we'll bring it a little bit closer. We just have to see what's going to happen in these next 40 seconds.
Yep, it's a 5v3 at this point. I'm not entirely sure if it's enough though. We Lost are going down like flies, and you know the score, it's a bit hard for them to actually come back. I think this game is definitely to the side of Yeet fans, and congratulations for being the winners of Arcway Gaming Pokemon Unite Blitz number 3.
Well deserved, definitely well fought for both sides though, because when you looked at that, that was a very close game for a lot of it in the mid game, a lot of it in maybe the mid to late game as well. And so we'll see those breakdowns coming up pretty soon, but there it is. There's all the taunts and the fun things you can do when you're winning, right? Even our spectator cam is having fun with it. So right there, that will be Yeet fans. Ladies and gentlemen, and as RT-san is saying in the chat, DAM in with the dam. So all right, you guys, that's going to be 685 as that final score to 328 right here.
Yep, this is definitely, look at the jump right after getting Zapdos. They were a little bit behind in this game, but with the Zapdos, they're able to come back entirely, and congratulations once again.
Definitely true. So yeah, like we called it, I think we kind of already said what needed to be said about the picture of this game, because that's what we were looking at all game, where the score was relatively close for the most part at each stage, right? Beginning, middle, and then the end is where it really turned around. So clearly everybody's gotten a vision of that, and so right here, wearing the crown is going to be Overlord as well as Yeet fan, matching each other almost here. We got those 10 KOs over there for Overlord. Yeet fan with the 11. Looking solid, everybody, but here's where it is. The damage, 109K from Overlord 98 TV. Insane, my brother, on that Zarina, but then Yeet fan with that 88. Nothing to scoff at, nothing to sneeze at, right?
Yep, I think both sides did so well, and I mean there were so many great games in this competition. Not to mention the fact that we actually went into the grand finals, right? Because of the bracket reset, and I think you know both teams it shows that they just really want to win this.
They definitely did, and we like to see that, so thank you. There's Assassin Nathan said, as the kids would say, sheesh. So good job throwing in a few of those last words right here for us. So we really appreciate it.
We are going to sign out now. I hope you guys have enjoyed the game so far, and hope to see you guys soon in the next run. So see you guys soon. Bye.